Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is the first time that you're joining me. Today's video is a journal with me session. We recently got the opportunity to take our family to, it's called a pumpkin patch, but it's a lot bigger than a pumpkin patch. It's got like amusement park rides and all kinds of food and games and a whole bunch of stuff. It's like it's a whole thing. So we actually won some tickets in a charity raffle at my husband's office. So we were able to take our whole family of 5, which was really like a really big blessing. I mean, it's kind of expensive to get in, especially when you're taking, 5 people. But because of the charity auction, we were able to save a little money for our family and do some good in the process. So that was really a really great thing for us. So what I'm doing right now is I have these leaves that came off of a tree just at the park, the pumpkin patch, and I have microwave pressed them and laminated them, and now I'm stapling them to form like a clear pocket for this index card where I will do some journaling later. And I'm messing with it a little bit, trying to add staples so that index card doesn't fall all the way through. And it just takes me a couple tries to get it exactly where I wanted it without stapling that piece of fabric right there on accident as well. So that's what I'm messing around with right now. And I have a ton of pictures from this session, or from this trip, I mean. And I have these laminated leaves, and I have a pretzel, like a soft pretzel wrapper, and a leftover ticket voucher for ephemera. So now I'm moving on to this second page, just trying to figure out what I'm going to put there. So here's all the photos that I have. I print all my photos at home on my Canon selfie printer. So it prints 4x6 images, and I usually do 2 to a sheet. So then the final image, like this one, is 3x4. So it actually works. They fit really nicely in like junk journals like this. So I really, really like that printer a lot. I do wish I had the ability to print like larger ones, maybe like full page photos or something, but I haven't yet gotten around to figuring out how to do that. So I'm just looking now for some extra layers and accents to add to this page to give it a little bit more interest. I think that little vintage Halloween witch is from maybe Simple Stories Halloween collection from last year. And I could be wrong about that, but I think that's where it's from. So I stick most things down with that Tombow tape runner. If you've been here before, you know this, but just in case. I'm going to stick this guide, visitor's guide, and it has a map when you fold it out in the middle of the park into this envelope, but it's a little too tall. So I'm just going to cut that down so that it will slip in and out easily. And the way this envelope is bound into this book makes it kind of tricky to get that large thing in and out. So I don't think I'll be doing that again. Just cutting off a little bit more so that it slides in and out a little bit easier. And now it's kind of bothering me how that flap is just hanging out there. It looks a little unfinished to me, so I was trying to find something that I could fix that feeling with, but I'm going to get distracted by photos here in a second. So they had a bunch of those like cutout things, where there's like a place where you insert your head and take your picture. And the girls really liked that. So we took photos at like every single one that we found. And here I have a couple of them that are horizontal. So I'm going to stick 2 of them back to back and then back another one with the journaling cards. And then I'm going to put them on this page so that they flip up to hide some journaling. That's a good way too to include more photos without adding like another photo into the layout visually, if that makes sense, because it's kind of hidden under the flip up. So here I am sticking 2 of those back to back, like I said, and then just trimming off the excess. The second one is backed with a journaling card, and then I'm going to get out some more journaling cards to glue underneath them just to add like a hidden journaling space on this page. So now I'm just trying to pick a washi tape to do that with. My collection of washi tape right now is fairly large, but I only use regularly like a handful of them. So I'm trying to be a little more adventurous with which washi tapes I use, but I have to be careful because they're not all sticky enough to handle like a functionality roll like this where that card's going to be moving up and down. So I'm just going to add washi tape to both sides of that hinge. And sometimes if the tape's not sticking, like sometimes later you'll come back and it won't be sticking quite as well as it was originally. But I can add like a clear tape over the ends of it, and that sometimes will help. I don't like having to do that, but occasionally it's necessary. So now I'm just going to glue these extra journaling cards under there to add a little hidden journaling space for later. That background paper especially is pretty busy, so without these there really wouldn't be a way to add writing to this page. So, and I like that it's a little bit hidden, kind of secret. So now you see me adding a little bit of that clear tape to the ends. I was just nervous about that tape coming up. So there, that flap is still bugging me, but I haven't yet figured out exactly how to fix it. And I have this library card pocket that I'm gluing down on this page, and that's where I've stuck that extra. We had 6 like ticket vouchers and we only needed 5. So I had 1 extra that I stuck in my journal in that pocket. So this is the wrapper from a soft pretzel. Soft pretzels are like my favorite treat. So whenever we go anywhere that has them, I'm always getting them, I guess. So I kept the wrapper from this. And I eventually decide that I think that it will go well over the flap of that envelope. But it's like a soft, like parchment paper. So I grab an extra, just like a piece of white cardstock that I'm going to cut to fit to stick under there to stiffen it up. And then I glue that over the flap of that envelope to make it almost like another little like short page. And I used a ton of glue on that because I wasn't sure how well it would stick to that parchment paper. I think it was majorly overkill. I don't think it required that much, but it did the job. So there's that. So now I'm just going to add some more glue onto that other side to finish this off. And there, now it's like a little half page with the pretzel wrapper on there. And don't worry, it was clean. And I'm just going to stick some washi tape along the edges to make sure that they stay like stuck down and they don't start to come up or curl back. And I added that clear tape just on the ends of where it's bound to that envelope because it was starting to like pull a little bit, so just to reinforce that. So I'm just trying to decide what to do next. This page feels unfinished to me at this point, so I'm just adding a couple little embellishments to that to give it a little bit more interest and sort of decorate that page a little bit more. So I end up sticking a couple just extra photos in that pocket with that ticket voucher. You can see I still have a ton, so I was working out where to put them. I'm going to use this journaling card on top of the pocket, and it's got like a little checklist on it. And so I'm going to use that, and I'm actually, eventually when I write in it, I'm going to write down like all the treats and stuff that we had. Because you go to, it's called Vala's Pumpkin Patch. You go to Vala's for the food, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's carnival type stuff. It's not like healthy, but it's delicious. So one of the things that they're famous for, or that a lot of people really like, are their apple cider donuts. And so we got a bunch of those. So that photo there on top is of the girls eating their apple cider donuts. So that's why I pull out this donut flashcard. I'm going to use that on this other page. Well, the back of the envelope. So I'm just going to use some of this wide washi tape. It's a William Morris tape. Just to tape that off the top of that envelope so that it opens up, and it's extra wide, so I'm just cutting it in half, and I'm going to use both pieces of that as my hinge. So I found these envelopes once in an antique store, and it was the whole box of them, and I was super pumped because I had never found anything like that before. And then not long after that, I found another box of the same flashcards at like Goodwill. So I have a ton of them, but I don't get to use them as often as I'd like. So I'm always excited when I can work that in. So this is just the sticker from the donut box, and it pulled off cleanly, so I'm going to add that to the page just as an embellishment. Ran out of tape, so here I am replacing my tape cartridge. This page, even when it's done, I feel like it's a little unfinished. It's definitely a little bit like not plain exactly, but I don't know, maybe relaxed would be the good word for it. I don't know. But I'm gonna play around here for a little while, trying to add some stuff to it to layer it up and make it more interesting. And I think in the end, I add like one sticker as an extra embellishment. But I think it works well with the overall like set of pages here. But in the moment, I'm really questioning it. Does anyone ever get nervous like when you're filming something and you second guess yourself more than you would if you weren't filming it? Because that's definitely what happened to me. Like I was going through all this stuff and I was like, you have to find the perfect thing. You have to find the perfect thing. Everybody's watching. So I don't know. It like stresses me out a little bit. Maybe this will work. Eventually I give up and it's fine. And I have several more photos there that I want to work in to this session. But this spread already feels really like photo heavy. Like if I add those, it's too much. I was trying to avoid turning the page and adding another spread to it, but eventually that is what I end up doing. I think I'm looking for, so the bottom of that list card has like a blank space on it. And I had a little trim piece that I knew would fit perfectly and I can't find it. And so I think that's what I'm looking for. And I'm trying to add other things to this page to fill that space and it's just not working. I do eventually find the trim piece. So when I show you the finished spread, look for that. It's like a printable ribbon from, it's actually in my Etsy shop if you want it, but it fills in that space really nicely. I do eventually find it, but it takes me a really long time. So here's the final spread, and this ends up pretty simple. So on that left-hand page, I'm going to add these two photos, and I had already like created quite a few little journal spots for myself, and so I wasn't sure if I would have enough to say to fill it all out. And in the end, I have plenty and more than enough, but I'm going to add some labels to this page to kind of limit the space that I feel like I need to fill up with writing, just to give myself a break. Plus, it is just more visually interesting, I feel like. And I have a ton of different label stickers from various places. A lot of them are Tim Holtz, some of them are from Amazon, some of them are like free printables online. But I definitely think that label stickers are like one of my must-have, I don't know, accessories, I guess you could call them, for junk journaling. So I'm going to add those to that page and then move on to this last page. I have these few photos left that I want to use, but I don't want it to be too, I don't know, there's just a lot of photos and I was getting kind of overwhelmed, like photo overwhelmed. So I'm trying to work out a way to add these to this last page where they're sort of hidden. And so I try this note card for a while, but it's basically the same color as the background. There's no contrast there. So I don't really like it. So I end up pulling out this envelope. It's just a vintage envelope from like someone's letter, and the flap has been cut off. So it makes a really nice, just already made pocket. So I'm going to turn that into a pocket for this page. So I'm using some clear tape to make sure that all of the like flaps where the envelope is made, where they come together, are one piece so that the photo slides in and out a little bit better. And then I'm going to use mostly this tape runner to stick it down. I do add some double-sided tape to where that masking tape is, that clear tape, just because the tape runner doesn't stick super well to that surface. So just to make sure that that's all stuck down really nicely. I'm just using some clear tape here to reinforce the top edges of that envelope where it might get a little bit of like pull and stress as things are slid in and out. And then I'm just going to stick that down on the page as a pocket. It was like the perfect width, matched that page really well. So that worked out pretty nicely. I'm just going to put some washi tape on the bottom to decorate the page a little bit. And then I'm going to back this photo with just some paper, like some lined paper, to add some more hidden journaling. So it'll be on the back of that photo and tucked into that pocket. And then I just add those extra photos. I just end up tossing them in that pocket too. So I think now, oh yes, I'm going to add a little embellishment to this page, again, just to decorate it a little bit more and give it a little bit more visual interest. So I'm just working out which side of the envelope I want that on. And then I'm just going to add a little mini staple to make sure that it stays stuck. And so that is the finished spread. I've done my journaling off camera. A lot of it you can't see because it has been, tucked into things. So that's kind of nice. And I added some stickers and some like tiny words things in various places just to add some more decoration. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.